Hi friends, welcome to Sindhu English. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம சேனல்ல பிஜி TRB யூனிட் 6 இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் அண்ட் பர்சனாலிட்டி. ஸோ இந்த டாப்பிக்ல இருந்து 100 கொஷின்ஸஸ் நாம இப்போ பார்க்க போகிறோம். ஸோ நம்ம 1லேருந்து 5 யூனிட்ஸஸ் வரைக்கும் கிட்டத்தட்ட 500 கொஷின்ஸஸ் பார்த்துருக்குறோம். ஸோ ஓரளவுக்கு பாதி போர்ஷன்ஸை எஜுகேஷன்ஸில் நம்ம கவர் பண்ண மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ ரிமைனிங் இதே மாதிரி ஒவ்வொரு டாபிக்ஸஸ்க்கும் உங்களுக்கு 100 கொஷின்ஸஸை பார்க்கலாம். So first, intelligence and cognitive abilities. What is the primary focus of cognitive abilities? Mental process like thinking and problem solving. Which of the following is not a component of attention? Which of the following is not a component of attention? Emotional intelligence. Interest in a task is primarily driven by intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Motivation is best described as a process that initiates and directs behavior. Aptitude refers to natural ability to learn or perform in a specific era. Attitude is primarily a learned predisposition to respond in a certain way. Value systems are shaped by culture, family, and personal experiences. Maslow's hierarchy of needs places which need at the base of the pyramid? Physiological needs. Achievement motivation is most closely associated with seeking success and mastering challenges. Who proposed the single factor theory of intelligence? Charles Spearman. Spearman's two-factor theory includes general intelligence and specific intelligence. Sternberg's triad theory of intelligence includes which components? Analytical, creative, practical. Thurston group factor theory emphasizes primary mental abilities. Guilford's structure of intellect model categorizes the intelligence into 3 dimensions: operations, content, and products. Gardner's multiple intelligence theory includes how many types of intelligence? 8. Which intelligence in Gardner theory is associated with understanding emotions? Intrapersonal. Emotional intelligence EQ primarily involves recognizing and managing emotions. Creativity is most closely related to which type of thinking? Divergent thinking. IQ tests primarily measure cognitive abilities like reasoning and problem solving. EQ is often accessed through self-report questionnaires and behavioral observation. and behavioral observation. Dyslexia primarily affects reading and writing. Dyscalculia is a learning ability related to disability related to mathematical abilities. Dysgraphia impacts a person's ability to write coherently. Dyspraxia is primarily associated with difficulties in motor coordination and planning. Which test is commonly used to assess intelligence in children? Vexillor Intelligence Scale of Children. Fluid intelligence refers to ability to solve novel problems using reasoning. Crystallized intelligence is based on accumulated knowledge and experience. Which theorist emphasizes the role of emotional intelligence in leadership? Daniel Goleman. The Stanford Binet test measures the intelligence through cognitive tasks like memory and reasoning. Learning difficulties are often identified through standardized cognitive and achievement tests. Section 2. Personality Theories and Assessment. Alport's trait theory categorizes traits into cardinal, central, and secondary. R.B. Kettle identified how many personality factors? 16. Eysenck's personality theory focuses on which dimensions? Extroversion, neuroticism, and psychoticism. Hippocrates' personality types were based on bodily humors. Kresmer personality typology linked the personality to body types. Sheldon's somotype theory include which body type? Ectomorph. Carl Jung's personality theory emphasizes introversion and extroversion. Spranger's personality types are based on values. The Myers-Briggs type indicator MBTI is based on the work of Carl Jung. Which assessment is commonly used to measure the personality traits? to measure the personality traits. 16. Personality factor questionnaire. 16. Personality factor questionnaire. The big 5 personality traits include. The big 5 personality traits include openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Projective test like the Rorschach inkblot test aims to assess. Projective test like the Rorschach inkblot test aims to assess unconscious thoughts and feelings. Unconscious thoughts and feelings. The Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory MMPI is used to assess mental health and personality disorders. Alport's concept of cardinal traits refers to a trait that dominates an individual's personality. Cattell's 16 PF questionnaire measures personality through self-reported traits. Eisner's psychotism dimension is associated with aggressiveness and impulsivity. Hippocrates' choleric temperament is characterized by. Hippocrates' choleric temperament is characterized by irritability and energy. Kretschmer associated the cyclic body type with. Kretschmer associated the cyclic body type with cyclothymic personality. Sheldon's endomorph body type is linked to sociability and relaxation. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious includes. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious includes shared ancestral experiences. Section 3. Mental health adjustment and counseling. Mental health is best defined as psychological well-being and effective functioning. Psychological well-being and effective functioning. Mental hygiene focuses on preventing mental disorders and promoting well-being. Preventing mental disorders and promoting well-being. Conflicts arises when two or more incompatible motives compete. When two or more incompatible motives compete. Frustration occurs when progress towards a goal is blocked. When a progress towards a goal is blocked. Unrest is a mental health refers to inner tension or dissatisfaction. Adjustment refers to adapting to environmental demands effectively. Adapting to environmental demands effectively. Which of the following is a defense mechanism? Repression. Repression involves pushing unacceptable thoughts into unconscious. Pushing unacceptable thoughts into the unconscious. Projection as a defense mechanism involves. Projection as a defense mechanism involves attributing one's own feeling to others. Sublimation redirects unacceptable impulses into. Sublimation redirects unacceptable impulses into socially acceptable activities. Socially acceptable activities. Guidance in psychology focuses on. Guidance in psychology focuses on helping individuals make informed decisions. Helping individuals make informed decisions. Counseling primarily aims to. Counseling primarily aims to provide support and solutions for personal issues. Provide support and solutions for personal issues. Which defense mechanism involves reverting to childlike behavior? Which defense mechanism involves reverting to childlike behavior? Regression. Denial involves. Denial involves refusing to acknowledge unpleasant realities. Refusing to acknowledge unpleasant realities. Rationalization is a defense mechanism. Rationalization is a defense mechanism where unacceptable behaviors are justified with logical reasons. Which of the following is a goal of mental hygiene? Which of the following is a goal of mental hygiene? Preventing psychological distress. Preventing psychological distress. Conflict resolution often involves. Conflict resolution often involves addressing competing motives constructively. Addressing competing motives constructively. Which is a sign of poor mental health? Chronic anxiety and distress. Guidance and counseling differ in that counseling is more focused on. Guidance and counseling differ in that counseling is more focused on emotional and personal problem solving. A common tool in counseling is. A common tool in counseling is active listening. Section 4, mixed topics. Maslow's self-actualization is achieved when an individual realizes their full potential. Which intelligent type in Gardner's theory involved musical ability? Musical rhythmic. Cattle's surface traits are. Cattle's surface traits are observable behaviors. Eysenck's neuroticism dimension measures. Eysenck's neuroticism dimension measures emotional stability with instability. Emotional stability with instability. The Rorschach-Inkblot test is an example of. The Rorschach-Inkblot test is an example of projective personality test. Projective personality test. Which learning disability affects the motor planning? Which learning disability affects the motor planning? Dyspraxia. Sternberg's practical intelligence is also known as Sternberg's practical intelligence is also known as street smarts. Allport's central traits are general characteristics shaping behavior. Jung's persona refers to the public face or social mask. The public face or social mask. Spranger's theoretical type values. Knowledge and discovery. Achievement motivation is often measured through thematic apperception test TAT, which defense mechanism involves overemphasizing positive traits to cover weaknesses. Compensation. Guilford's divergent production is closely related to creativity. The Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale measures cognitive abilities like verbal and performance IQ. Maslow's belongingness needs include love and social relationships. Emotional intelligence includes the ability to manage one's own emotions and understand others. Which personality type in Hippocrates theory is calm and unemotional? Phlegmatic. Kresmer's leptosomic body type is associated with schizoid personality. Sheldon's mesomorph's body type is linked to assertiveness and energy. The 16th PF questionnaire was developed by R.B. Kettle. Which of the following is a characteristic of mental hygiene? Encouraging positive coping strategies. Conflicts can lead to the frustration when motives are incompatible. The TAT is used to assess personality and motivation through storytelling. Sternberg's creative intelligence involves generating novel ideas. Gardner's bodily kinesthetic intelligence is evident in physical coordination and dexterity. Which defense mechanism involves refusing to accept the reality? Which defense mechanism involves refusing to accept the reality? Denial. Mental health counseling often uses. Mental health counseling often uses cognitive behavioral therapy. Maslow's esteem needs include. Maslow's esteem needs include respect and recognition. Eisenach's extroversion is characterized by. Eisenach's extroversion is characterized by sociability and outgoingness. Learning disabilities are best addressed through individualized education plans and interventions. Individualized education plans and interventions. Okay friends, I hope this video is useful to you. So இந்த வீடியோ பிடிச்சிருந்ததுன்னா மறக்காம லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க. ஸோ நம்மளோட சேனலை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பார்க்குறீங்க அப்படின்னா மறக்காம சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கோங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ். I will meet you on another interesting topic on my next class. Thank you all.